It's playoff time in the regional Super 50. You're watching anything cricket. Let's go.
Whatever the challenge that you face, you'll need effective insurance solutions. Look no further than IGS Insurance Brokers. We specialize in commercial, auto insurance, life, individual and group health, as well as pension packages.
At IGS Insurance Brokers, honesty and integrity are paramount. We are your general insurance brokers for life.
We deliver packages tailored specifically for you. Give us a call at 429-8810 or visit our offices for a consultation with our friendly, well-trained staff.
Our aim at IGS is to offer the best possible service to our clients and at the same time to be a credit to the insurance industry in Barbados.
You may be locked down, but we've not locked you out. Call us at 242-7642. IGS Insurance Brokers. You can stay safe with us.
I'm Philip Hackett, and today we've got Wayne Holder and Ayana Holder as well. All excited because of the regional Super 50, which is now at the semi-final stage. But of course, it didn't just get there. And before we can actually look at that, we need to look back a bit at what would have happened before. And I think those of us who would have been following the competition closely, one of the big talking points would have been Jamaica sneaking into the semi-finals with two amazing wins. And of course, still very much the talking point. Wayne Holder, Ayana Holder, the Jamaicans have found their way into the semi-finals, and still a talking point, that match against the Barbados side, that magical match.
Well, yes, Jamaica are very much out of the blue, out of nowhere, after playing some rather listless cricket in the earlier rounds of the competition, seemed set to make their exit from the competition, although they give themselves a lifeline by defeating the Leeward Islands. And even then, at one point, it looked almost assured that they were going to lose that match and live out of the competition. But as this great game of cricket has taught us many, many times, it is never over until that fat lady sings, and the Jamaicans somehow or another have clung to life and now made it into the semifinals. And I think at this point, they remain a dangerous team, very, very dangerous. I mean, coming from the depths of despair to be still alive. And although they are coming up against the mighty Trinidad and Tobago Red Force, the overwhelming favorites and a beaten team in the competition so far, Jamaica has reminded us this is still cricket. It has to be played on the field, and it has to be played until the very last ball is bowled.
Well, we weren't able to get the fat lady on the show today. We've got Ayana Holden, though. I think that's even better. Ayana, have you recovered yet from that contest between Jamaica and Barbados? I wouldn't suggest any bias on your part by saying recover from the whipping that Barbados received.
Honestly, Philip, I must admit that that loss really hurt. The manner in which it happened, I really couldn't believe what I was watching. But as we said, I think that the Jamaica Scorpions have picked up some momentum at a very critical stage in the competition. And I think that they are a very dangerous team. Yes, they're coming up against TNT Red Force, but Jamaica has been playing a type of cricket, like a never say die style of cricket, because even in the game against the Leeward Islands were going very, very good, and you thought that they had the game wrapped up. Even against Barbados Pride, they fought in that first innings coming from 87 for 8. Barbados batting, there were 130 for 1 odd, and they were bowled out for 167 by a very spirited spell from Andre McCarthy. So I think that they will be the ones to watch in the semifinals.
You know, when I've heard all sorts of theories, problems in the camp. This person should have been playing. Somebody else should not have been playing. Why is somebody there if they're not playing? All sorts of stories. But I know you're the man with all the information and the balanced analysis. From the Barbadian perspective, what went wrong on that disastrous day?
Well, Philip, I don't know if I may disappoint you because I don't have all the answers.
No more than the Barbados team did.
There is a particular question that if I could get an answer to that question, a reasonable answer that satisfies me, then I may be able to move on.
Which question is that?
I am still perplexed, totally perplexed. And the question I want to ask is, why did Roston Chase not bowl in the Jamaica innings? And I'm going to go further. Joshua Bishop bowled fantastically with a new ball and wiped away the Jamaica top order. He was very well supported by the veteran Ashley Nurse. And these two spinners picked up the first 7 Jamaica wickets. Jamaica tottering at 87 for 8. You have Roston Chase in your side. You have Nicholas Curtin, who was being brought into the team as a batting all-rounder and a bit of an off, well, more than a bit of an off spinner, and neither of the two of them bowled the ball. I am still, I'm not
Speechless.
so speechless.
Well, you know, man.
Why Chase in particular, and to a lesser extent Curtin, did not get a ball.
Well, you know, there was a theory, or some people put forward the query, I would say more than else, that he may have been injured. The man that I saw at Long On fielding for a significant part of the innings and sprinting in at one stage and diving forward and taking the catch. To my mind, if you've got a player who is injured, Long On in a high traffic zone that is 50 over cricket, that in itself would be crazy. So I think we can rule out the injury aspect of it.
Unless,
not only because of that, but you know, you've heard of investigative journalism. So I have no reason to believe that Roston Chase was injured. Let's put it that way.
Well, that's because, I mean, unless he got injured when he going forward and took the catch. Maybe he got injured then, but he definitely could not have been injured before that.
I think that the only injury Roston Chase is likely to have received that day would be the injury of the last wicket falling, being left high and dry, and Barbados 51 runs short.
But really though, I could not understand. I cannot understand. I still am at a loss as to why at that stage of the innings, why in that innings, Roston Chase did not get a ball. I'm not willing to discuss that much or anything to do with that much until I get that answer.
Okay, Ayana, before Ray makes himself ill in some way, he's obviously very perplexed and understandably so. You want to weigh in on that a bit more, the whole issue of what happened with the Barbados side?
Yes, Philip. I think in the first innings, I myself wondered why Roston didn't bowl as well. And when that 9-wicket partnership was going on, I was asking myself if they want to field the 50 overs, because the game started to go in a way like we're just playing because we came here for a 50 over match, so 50 overs have to bowl. That was the feeling I was getting watching the game as it played. And I think that we didn't attack enough to close the innings. You have to wrap up the innings. You had Jamaica down. You needed to wrap up the innings and restrict them to a manageable score. Having allowed them to get to 220, I always thought that that would have been a bit of a challenge because the pitch had been keeping a bit low. It was a bit slow. And I always thought that that would have bothered the Barbados Pride batsmen. The manner in which the second innings, Pride's innings went though, words really can't explain. We lost 7 wickets for about 15
16
runs,
runs. Yeah.
16 runs. So I guess in another show we will dissect the Pride's campaign in Super 50, but I have a lot of questions because I think that we need to look at this format of cricket differently because over the last couple of years, hasn't really brought any returns in 50 over cricket.
Apart from the pride, though, I mean, you all would have had a broad look at the competition. I'm sure there's some other things you would want to share with us.
Yes, Jason Mohammed, the leading run scorer in the competition so far, having just returned from Bangladesh captaining the West Indies team, I think it will do him and his confidence good. Getting a century and a half century and is now the leading run scorer in the competition. From the bowling perspective, young Gudakesh Moti, who might have flown under the radar behind Versami Permov. He had the opportunity to showcase his skills and is the tournament's leading wicket taker with 12 wickets. He had 2 4-wicket hauls, and I was very impressed with the young man. He was very instrumental in the Leeward Islands game, I think it was. He got 4 for 45. And it's good to see the youngsters put it in performances. I don't think that we should jump ahead of ourselves to say that he should be selected for West Indies right away because he still has some more cricket to play in order to prepare him for the international circuit. But it was pleasing to see him, Joshua Bishop, grab a 5-wicket haul for Pride, and he now has 8 wickets. The pacer, Quinton Boatswain from the Leeward Islands, has done well as well. I think he has 11 wickets. And it was a bit disappointed that Sheena Berridge, someone who I was looking forward to seeing in the competition, pulled up with an injury early on. So all in all, I think that the performances have been a bit inconsistent maybe. We only had, I think, 7 centuries, a lot of half centuries, batsmen failing to convert. So that's an area that I think we can improve in.
I think you probably were keeping the best for last because we can revisit that Jamaica Barbados match from a different perspective. Now, you may remember on a previous show, I shared that I was haunted by that shot played by Andre McCarthy on the tour of Bangladesh and the one day internationals. That what I call a slug swipe. And then the performance of Rakeem Cornwall and friends in Bangladesh wiped that totally from my mind. And in fact, the image that stayed with me was Cornwall diving for that winning catch. But McCarthy is intent to be in the forefront of things all the time. And he has now picked up a hat trick, and he was the one who bowled Jamaica to victory over Barbados. Tell us something about him. Does he retain his play in the one international side along with Jason Mohammed? Tell me, guys.
You mean in the upcoming series against the Sri Lankans, West Indies?
Yeah. But I threw his name out there from 2 perspectives. To give him credit for what he did in the match against Barbados, and does that in any way factor in, along with Jason Mohammed, who would have had a disappointing tour of Bangladesh as well? Have they done anything to keep the selectors looking at them in your estimation? Because remember, neither would likely have gone had the regular players been available.
Well, definitely Jason Mohammed has etched his name in the memories, and I believe on the notepads of the selectors. He would have to come in for consideration. He's shown consistent form and not only consistent form, but he has scored his runs well. For Trinidad and Tobago has scarcely, hardly looked to be in any trouble at the wicket. He bided his time. I remember the Barbados match, he started off relatively slowly and just got himself stuck in, and then he moved on. So Jason Mohammed definitely comes into the reckoning. I'm not so sure that hat trick and all, 6 wicket, all in all, Andre McCarthy would really cause the selectors any problems as far as to his selection.
You think they're focusing on his last wife as well?
I know, but not this dog swipe. His lack of production with the bat. I mean, Andre McCarthy is first and foremost a batsman in the Jamaica side, and Jamaica generally has been very, very disappointing at the top of the order. Well, generally have been very disappointing with the bat, but even more so at the top of the order. And Andre McCarthy just another one of them. So I think that his lack of productivity with the bat would mean that he would not be considered.
Okay, guys, it's good to look back, but now we need to look forward to the semifinals and the playoffs journey, because remember the playoffs also include the fifth place game between Barbados and the Leewards. So let's have a look at the playoffs. Who's going to go first?
I'll take this one. Barbados Pride and Leeward Islands Hurricanes playing for fifth and sixth match. I think it will just basically be a game for Pride, maybe for players to make the stats look a bit better. But at this point in time, I don't know where the guys are probably at mentally. Shamar Brooks has had a decent tournament. Justin Graves as well. Shea Hope, just coming into the tournament late, he will be glad to get another chance to be in the middle in preparation for the Sri Lanka series. Leeward Islands Hurricanes, I was very impressed with Nitish Kumar and Casey Carty, two Centurions from that side. And I think that at this point, players will just be playing to basically bring some pride to themselves individually. As for the semifinals, two of my favorites go up against one another, Guyana Jaguars and Windward Islands Volcanoes. I think that they have been playing a brand of united cricket. You know, a different player stands up on the day. And I somewhat, I guess from my own personal satisfaction, whoever wins that game wins the tournament for me. But I won't jump so far ahead as yet, because Trinidad and Tobago Red Force and Jamaica Scorpions, who have just picked up that momentum, I think it's probably going to be the game. I expect it to be the game of the tournament. It's pretty much like the best of the white ball that we see here in the region. I'm not sure Scorpions will bring in any of their test players, because the top order has been struggling a bit. Brandon King has been a bit disappointing. I don't think that they have managed him well, because the opening spot, I don't think that is for him. He has done it in T20 and West Indies, throw him in the ODI team as an opening batsman, but I don't think that is the place for him. I think number 3, number 4 works for him. But I am really looking forward to the semifinals coming up.
Yeah, my view on Brandon King, I think Brandon King is just a victim of circumstances. Circumstances in the sense that I'm a firm believer that red ball cricket, long form cricket, is the way that players develop. And because of some success shown by Brandon King, he would have had a number of opportunities to play the shorter forms and for West Indies, and also in the CPL and so on. And I think his development really as a batsman has actually been on pause because of that. I think he's still a good player, but I believe he will sort himself out when he gets back to playing a red ball cricket on a regular basis. When we talk so often about players being due for failure when they're in good form, and I think it's fair to say that the Jamaican batsmen are due for some success.
Well, that may be a philosophy, but although what I would say is that surprises and all that Jamaica have been able to pull, and as dangerous as we say they are with all the momentum and the like, I can't see this Jamaica side beating Trinidad and Tobago Red Force. When I look at these teams, man for man, when I look at the template that the Trinidadians have set, the confidence with which the Trinidadians are coming to the competition, I really can't see this Jamaica side. I think this Jamaica side probably have played their best cricket already. You can't see them getting any better than what they have performed so far. Trinidad, on the other hand, have played, like I said, have been so confident that the Trinidadians have basically played all their tourist squad in the competition and still remain unbeaten. That is the kind of reserve, the kind of power, the kind of force that they are. We even saw the captain sitting out, lounging on the side of the field. No injury, no nothing, but just taking a break from the competition because they are so sure of themselves. Mind you, it is a cricket team and they can lose a game like any other team. What I'm suggesting though is that the one team I believe who can upset Trinidad and Tobago Red Force is the Guyana Jaguars. You know, they have a good complement, a good mix. And they got decent fast bowling in Romario Shepherd and Niall Smith. The spin component we have already spoken about. Gudakesh Motikan. Another surprise package has been the spin bowling of Shantapal Hemraj, who has done very, very well with the ball and also with the bat, has run into some form, has been very dangerous, very pugnacious at the top of the order. Then there is that mystery man, if you may call him that, Shimron Hetmeyer. He's a match winner on any given day. We don't know when that day will be, but on any given day, Shimron Hetmeyer is a match winner and he can take it away from you. And lots of respect for Romario Shepherd's talents also. He is going, so he's another one of those players that I believe that can really come to the fore. So, but basically, I look forward to Trinidad Guyana final when it all goes down.
Well, you jumped ahead of me because I was going to Ayana for that purpose. I meant to come back to you, but you took yourself out of the game. You're looking at a Trinidad Guyana final. As you compile your closing thoughts, Ayana, I know you hinted at it, and you probably hinted at supporting probably each of the four teams in the semifinal. So let's put it together now and tell us who you're really looking at.
You put me on the spot here, Philip, because I think this is a tough one to call. Honestly, Ray said he think that Jamaica has played their best cricket so far, but I can't write off Rodman Powell and Andre McCarthy and even Fabian Allen. I've seen Fabian Allen. He's been batting a bit different in the last couple of innings that I've seen him. He's been a bit more careful, and I can't call it, Philip. I can't call it. I just know that one of my favorites will be in the final, and whichever one it is, I expect to win the competition.
Okay, well, to be honest, I can't blame you because I'm not going to be brave enough to pick a winner myself. All I would say is that clearly the Red Force are, overwhelming favorites, and we know that in sport, in cricket, like most sports, there's always that element of surprise, that strange thing that may happen. Like Barbados losing 7 wickets for hardly any runs. So I am not going to write off the other teams in the competition, including Jamaica. Just to say though, when it comes to Fabian Allen, I suspect Fabian Allen is trying to do in 50 over cricket what he's not getting the opportunity to do in red ball cricket, and that is just develop himself as a batsman, a proper batsman. Because let's face it, if you were playing 50 over cricket and 20 over cricket only, and you're not batting in the top 5 or so, then you're not going to have too many opportunities to really develop certain aspects of your batting. And maybe Fabian Allen is trying to do that, to use the opportunities that come his way, which there have been many because of the failure of the top order. And it's good to see that the youngster is trying to play some maybe orthodox cricket. I think that's what you're trying to say, I am.
Yes, very much so. You summed it up well.
Okay. So, Wayne, I don't think you want to add to anything. I can only hope for your sake that you're able to get the answer to the query that has been tormenting you. I will say to you that I don't think you have to be concerned about the health of Russell Chase. I have not been able to determine that anything is wrong with him, and therefore one can only assume that the fact that he didn't bowl in that curtain, he wasn't called into the attack either, was captain's choice. That's my take on it. But of course, I wasn't there.
I went on a cruise once some years back, and there was an event on the cruise that night called the Captain's Choice.
Uh-huh. But let's hope it.
Thanks, thanks for a pleasant memory.
Yeah. Well, let's hope that that memory, yes, was better than the most recent one in terms of captaincy. So I'm sure that has given fans enough ammunition to further discussion, which I'm sure we will hear more about Glenn Holder, Ayana Holder, as the series against Sri Lanka comes closer, especially the Test match side. I don't think there's a whole lot of debate over who's going to lead the one-day side, but exciting times ahead in anticipation of the selection of the West Indies Test team, something that we will address on a future show. That's our show for today. Join us again soon for another episode of Anything Cricket. Let's talk. Meanwhile, like us on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We'll see you again next time.